A superhero's origin story is not the be-all, end-all. Many characters in comic books are constantly evolving, whether that's in terms of emotional development or by means of ability improvements. But they can also devolve, in a sense. We're talking about transformations that alter their character in a way that's shocking, unexpected, and even a little morbid at times. Today, we are taking a closer look at this with the top 10 scary superhero transformations. We're focusing on change rather than morality. Cases where a superhero transformed into something scary, but not necessarily them transforming into a villain. This is a change in their physical form for the most part, or their powers and abilities. So with that in mind, let's get to this list. In at number 10, Cap Wolf. Werewolves are one of the many staples in the horror genre when it comes to spooky monsters and creatures of the night. So why not start off our list with one? We're referring to that fascinating time when Captain America Steve Rogers was transformed into a werewolf, commonly referred to as Cap Wolf. This went down in 1992 during a 6-part story arc called Man and Wolf. It's worth noting that this story arc also has some of the most amazing werewolf Steve Rogers covers. Anyway, the premise behind this one is that it is a sinister ploy by a villain named Nightshade who turned everyone in a small town in the US into werewolves. This included Cap, who somehow managed to retain most of his personality while he transformed, to the point where he's more of an obedient pup than wolf. He would eventually lead a bunch of werewolf superheroes, and Wolverine for some reason, in a battle against Nightshade to bring her down. Next up in our number 9 spot, Jubilee. Jubilee has a long history with the X-Men, being an inaugural member of the Generation X team. She would lose her powers during House of M, and then during a storyline where mutants fight against vampires and Dracula, she would be turned into a vampire. Actually, she even tried to turn Logan into a vampire afterwards too, but despite that, she ended up getting back together with the X-Men, who got her a magical amulet so that she could walk around in the sun and not die. Not dying is pretty key. Then, Jubilee ends up looking after an orphan baby who was saved from a destroyed orphanage, and then she adopts said baby. This was her status quo for a while, a vampire mom. That is, until she was saved from burning alive without said amulet by Quentin Quire, who uses the last bit of Phoenix Force in him to save her, which reverts her powers back to the way they were before, and cures her of vampirism. Following all that? Yeah. Anyway, scary part, vampire mom. Maybe not so much the mom, but definitely the vampire part. Moving on to number 8, Howard Hughes' Superman. Let's take a detour and look at a different variety of scary at this number. Comically scary and full of cringe. Once upon a time, Superman transformed into Howard Hughes. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Hughes, he was a business magnate, investor, record-setting pilot, engineer, film director, and producer, and philanthropist. Dude did a lot. Leonardo DiCaprio played him in a movie once too. Hughes started off in the film industry as a producer, eventually becoming a prominent figure in the aviation industry. And then as he grew old, he became famous for his eccentric behavior and recluse lifestyle. Now, back to our story. Superman, thanks to a blast of red kryptonite, turns into a knockoff Howard Hughes. It's also never really explained. His hair grows long, his nails grow long, and it's all just very unsettling. Anyway, the long hair, long nails, this is a thing that Hughes was known for during his more eccentric days at the end of his life, and Superman is the spitting image of that in this comic. Gotta love the Silver Age. Moving on to number 7, Mac Gargan's Venom. Venom and Eddie Brock had managed to sink into some comfortable anti-hero territory for a while before the symbiote jumped ship. Eventually, it found its way to Mac Gargan as a host. Now, Mac Gargan, aka Scorpion, would become the host of the Venom symbiote after Secret War when the Venom symbiote approached Gargan, seeking out a new host who was a seasoned criminal and had a mutual hatred of Spider-Man. Mutual hatred brings people together. At first, Gargan refused the offer, but seeing as Venom had bonded with him already, he was eventually convinced. Venom introduced a substantial upgrade to his powers, giving him abilities that Brock and Parker both exhibited while wearing the Clintar suit. It also led to some pretty unhinged and brutal behavior, thanks to Gargan's influence. This included eating a lot of people. I mean, we're talking a variety of people here, like Atlantean people, Skrull people, even Asgardian people. Yeah, it's intense. Moving on to number 6, Jean Grey. Jean Grey has had many a transformation over the years, all of which began with her very first transformation into the Phoenix during the Dark Phoenix Saga, or rather, the Phoenix Saga and the following Dark Phoenix Saga, depending on how you split that up. She would also die for the first time during that arc, the first of many deaths, but that's rather here nor there as far as this number is concerned. During a mission in space, the X-Men shuttle is damaged, and Jean tries to save them by piloting the shuttle back to Earth. But in the process, she's exposed to fatal levels of radiation. So she calls out for help, and the cosmic entity known as the Phoenix Force is what answers. The Phoenix Force is the sum of all life in the universe, and moved by her dedication and love, it creates a duplicate of her body to store her psyche in. But then it becomes overwhelmed by her, and places her body in a healing cocoon while it uses the duplicate it created to slip into Jean's life with the X-Men instead. Now, during the second part of the saga, which is commonly referred to as the Dark Phoenix Saga, the Phoenix gets a little taste of evil when it commits planetary genocide. And that first taste of evil is just a little too much, because it then transforms into a force of total destruction, a threat to the universe. But Jean's personality takes over, and she ends up committing suicide in order to ensure that the universe is safe. But fear not, she is resurrected from the healing cocoon, also known as the Phoenix Egg, and is exempt from all of the terrible things the Phoenix did because, surprise, she was alive this whole time. Oh, comic books. Gotta love them. Moving on to number 5, Cosmic Ghost Rider. What's scarier than an eternally burning skeleton with cosmic powers that drives around on a bike called the Hell Cycle? Well, a few things, but that doesn't quite dilute how horrifying the Cosmic Ghost Rider is aesthetically. Inside, this version of Frank Castle ain't all that bad. He's from an alternate Earth called TRN-666, in which Thanos invaded and desecrated the planet. Castle was killed early on and bartered with Mephisto to be brought back to life in order to go after the Mad Titan. But by the time that he was resurrected as Ghost Rider, Castle had missed his opportunity. Thanos was long gone from Earth. So Castle roamed the lifeless planet aimlessly for a very, very long time until Galactus showed up, seeking refuge from the Mad Titan. Castle and Galactus then strike up a deal, with Castle becoming his new herald, being imbued with the power cosmic, just like the Silver Surfer. A burning cosmic skeleton seeking vengeance. It's pretty scary. In our number 4 spot, Injustice Superman. How does one turn the most honorable and goody two-shoes superhero into a complete monstrous chaos-fueled tyrant? Simple. Just trick them into killing their spouse and unborn child. That is literally what the Joker did to Superman in the Injustice video games and comic series. The Man of Steel was tricked into murdering Lois Lane and therefore their unborn child during the catalyst event for this story arc. In response, Superman would punch a hole right through the Joker's chest, much to Batman's surprise. Superman would further unravel, believing that only he and other metahumans were responsible enough to look after the world and keep it safe. Except he went to new extremes, creating a totalitarian dictatorship in the process, and completely wiping out anyone who opposed him. Moving on to number 3, Hal Jordan Parallax. After the fallout of the death of Superman's story arc, I promise I won't talk about it, Hal Jordan's hometown of Coast City was destroyed in a battle between Mongul and one of the imitation Supermen who popped up after the Man of Steel's death in the early 90s. This marked the beginning of a transition at DC where the publisher had decided that Hal Jordan needed to be replaced due to a lack of interest in the Green Lantern series at the time. Now the idea was to bring in a new Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, and eliminate the Green Lantern Corps, quite literally, by having Hal go on a rampage and kill most of them. After Coast City was destroyed, Hal tried to use his ring to reconstruct it and bring back all those innocent civilians. But the Green Lantern Corps was like, yo, Hal, you can't use your ring for personal gain and this seems very personal to you. So Hal's like, I am, and snaps, and then takes it out on them, killing a slew of Guardians. He then takes on the name of Parallax, but turns out Hal was actually just possessed by a fear entity called Parallax, who had been biding its time to escape from the Guardians. Hal would end up sacrificing himself in order to reignite the Earth's sun, dying, and then eventually becoming the Spectre in order to seek redemption for his actions as Parallax. And then is just humiliated by Batman for years later, who just never trusts him since. Moving on to number 2, Penance. Penance is Robert Robbie Baldwin, the hero formerly known as Speedball. Speedball was a member of the New Warriors, and at the beginning of Civil War, Robbie and the team attempted to apprehend a group of supervillains in Stamford, Connecticut, as part of a reality TV show that followed the team around. One of those villains is a character called Nitro, who surprises the team with an explosive blast that kills not only all of the New Warriors members minus Robbie, but 612 civilians, including 60 children. Robbie was presumed dead after the Stamford disaster, but later was found in a coma, thanks to his kinetic energy field powers keeping him alive. That power burns out temporarily as a result. Things only go downhill from there, though. After Robbie wakes up from the coma, he's put in SHIELD custody and locked up in a federal prison. His mother disowns him. He's offered the chance to testify before Congress concerning the Superhuman Registration Act, but as he heads to the Capitol, he's shot by someone in the crowd, with the bullet's fragments then lodging themselves too close to his spine for him to be fully covered. All of this leads to the normally cocky, arrogant, fun-loving hero to have a massive transformation. Guilt-ridden and not doing overly great on the sanity front, he ends up donning a new suit of armor that contains 612 internal spikes, 612 representing each of the victims from the Stanford disaster. Talk about dark. And last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Spider-Man turning into Man-Spider. This is straight up terrifying. There's a reason why so many people have a fear of spiders, and this transformation of Peter Parker's has us understanding why. This went down during the 2004 Changes story arc in the Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 2, over the course of issues 17 to 20. It came out shortly after the very first Spider-Man film by Sam Raimi, which caused many fans to believe that this was just a way to introduce the film's organic web shooters into the comic books. That being said, if this was actually the reason why this arc happened, surely there was a better way to introduce that aspect into the comics in a way less gross manner. So, a villain called the Queen captures and restrains Parker, and at the end of their conflict, she kisses him. But it was not a kiss. Oh no. Turns out that kiss was actually the Queen injecting him with a mutagen that causes Parker to drastically change and mutate into a giant spider, like an actual giant spider. Four limbs burst out of his torso, he grows fangs inside of his mouth, and he starts to grow multiple eyes. And turns out he's pregnant too? His body can't take the stress, so Parker dies, but fear not, because that unborn spider baby, well, it bursts out of Peter's man-spider corpse to reveal that the baby is actually been Peter all along? Memories and abilities fully retained too. And then he returns home to MJ capable of shooting webs out of his wrists now. And he's super nonchalant about it, so yeah. Alright, there we have it, friends. What other superhero transformations have freaked you out in the past? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know your thoughts and feels. If you guys dug this video, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, share it with a friend, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this. In the meantime, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.